Hi, my name is Newell Davis with World Composting, and today we're going to do an update of our lemon bin. Now, today is February 2nd, 2018, so it's been about a month since my last update. I actually have not done anything with the bin at all. So it has just been sort of sitting down here in the basement by itself with the food that I've added and the lemons, and we're going to go and check and see how it did. Now, before we go to the bin, I do want to make a plea to everybody. I don't know if you know this, but YouTube is changing their terms and conditions of receiving monetary value for your videos. And you have to have 1,000 subscribers, and I'm kind of short of that at around 360. So if you could please subscribe to my channel, and if you know anybody else that's interested, or if you can get them to subscribe, that would be great. I don't make a lot of money doing this, but it's enough to kind of pay for this as a hobby, and maybe have a couple other things. Actually, I did just purchase something here from another company. I'm going to hold this up here for you. I just purchased this from a company that was with the earnings that I made doing these videos. And we're going to test that out in one of my future videos and actually try it out and see how it works. So this just, if you can, please. All right, thank you if you do, and if not, I still thank you for showing up and watching my videos. Now with that, let's get to the bin and take a look. All right, so this is our bin that had the lemons in it. And as you can tell, top sort of dry, which is fine. It means it's not really a whole lot of moisture in here. So, couple worms here on top. This is the side that had the lemons on it. Let's just dig in here a little bit and see if we find anything. This is really well composted, although it's starting to get a little bit too moist. As I said, I haven't done anything with this. Let's see if we can find anything. A little bit of an odor to it. Actually, it has kind of a citrusy odor, which is unusual in a bin, for me at least. So, not finding any lemons here. There was a lot that I put in here. A lot of worms, though. As you can see here in this handful, there's just a bunch of worms in here. So a lot of worms. And this is the side that had the citrus on it. This was the side that was a little bit more downward, a little lighter, I should say. So now I'm seeing the banana peels that I threw in here. These are some of these banana peels. I'm not seeing any lemons at all, though. So the lemons, it looks like, are completely gone. Which is exactly what I was hoping would happen with this. Now the bin is way too moist here, I could tell. So, I mean, you can hear it squishing around, and it lumps up in a ball when I squeeze it. So it's way too moist. I need more bedding in here. But surprisingly, the worms are going into this area where the lemons were. I mean, there's big worms too. I mean, look at these. I mean, these are pretty big for me. Normally they're much smaller. So these are decent sized worms, and there's a whole bunch of them over here. I mean, as you can tell right over here, I mean, there's just a ton of worms in here. So surprisingly, I was worried that it might kill the worms, or maybe they'd be smaller, or there'd be something wrong with them, but instead it looks like they're doing actually pretty well. Except for the fact that there's a lot of moisture in here. The bin is actually pretty healthy, and as I said, it doesn't smell like compost that's compact. It actually smells like citrus. It smells like lemons. Now this is really compact over here, but I just sort of piled this up when I put the lemons in on this side. So this is really too compact over here as well, but this is all really well composted now. This had some banana peels and asparagus and a few other things in there when I first put the lemons in. So let's just see here. This is tons of worms in this bin. The bin's doing very well. Lots of fairly large worms too, and they look very healthy. It's not like they're doing bad or all like, discolored or something like that. Or I'm not seeing a whole lot of cocoons, though, I will say. So I don't know if that has something to do with the fact that the lemons were in here or what. I'm just going to kind of dig through this a little bit to see if I can find any cocoons. Not seeing any. So, I mean, I am seeing something like that worm right there looks a lot younger than the other ones, which are really big, but I'm just not seeing a whole lot of cocoons. Sometimes especially when it bin's this composted, I'll see a ton of cocoons in here, and I'm not seeing any. Oh, here we go. There's one. Let's see if I can bring this to the forefront right. See if we can get this to focus. Right here, there's one cocoon, if you can see it. So there are cocoons in here too, which is good. It seems a little bit lower than normal, but that also could be because there's a lot of worms and there's not a whole lot of food, and they're trying to mitigate their population in here because of the lack of food. So I think this bin definitely needs more paper to absorb some of this material. This bin's pretty much almost done, but we're going to keep it going a little longer. I mean, I have to say, this is surprising to me. This smell, I know you guys can't smell through the channel here, but this smells wonderful. I mean, it smells like, I have like lemons sitting out in the open. I mean, it smells really good, which is surprising. Oh, wait, here we go. We found a piece of lemon here. So here you go. Here's a piece of lemon. So we're able to find one. That is not fully composted, but I mean, it smells really good. I'm really surprised by this. Here's a little bit more pieces of lemon. Maybe they kind of piled up a little bit. Worms on this one. This is another little piece of lemon in here. I also am not seeing any of the seeds at all. I thought maybe they might, grow in here, but it's probably too cold. It looks like there's some fibrous material in here, which could be lemons. But, it's not stopping the worms from eating it at all. So let's just see, maybe they're more towards the middle here. Yeah. No, but look at all the worms here on the bottom here. I mean, there's just a ton of worms within this material that had the lemons in it, and I'm really surprised by that. I mean, I know I've thrown lemons in bins before, and they've broken down and everything. So here's a piece of asparagus, which actually was in here much longer than the lemons were, and that's still not broken down. But surprisingly, this bin has worked really well. I'm quite surprised by the fact that lemons could break down in a bin this small. I've only had them in larger bins, like my 35-gallon bin or the huge bin at my parents' house where they throw everything in, including tomatoes and pineapple and everything, but I've never tried to throw them into a bin this small before, and I was afraid that it would really overwhelm the bin and kill everything, like the acidity of it. I definitely feel that the eggshells that I had, which I store in these containers like this, I usually have eggshells, and that are crushed up and ground up, and I sprinkled those on top when I started it. Maybe that helped neutralize it, so it worked out okay. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to add some more paper to this bin. I think we're done with our trial of lemons. I'm going to call this a success. This is one other thing. Actually, while we're on the subject here, and this is something I still don't understand, I don't know where these pieces of plastic are coming from. I don't throw any cardboard in here that has plastic like this on it. I don't throw paper in here. I mean, like, I don't know where this comes from. I've found multiple pieces like this in my bins, and I have no idea where it's coming from. I thought it was cardboard boxes, like the glue from it, that it can't be broke, that isn't breaking down or something, but there's something else that I'm putting in my bins that actually has a core like this that is just not getting broken down, and it just stays like this. I've tried throwing these back in bins thinking it was from like a fruit or vegetable, but so I don't know what this is, but I'm just going to put that off to the side for now. So anyhow, while I was digging through, I just thought I'd mention that. So again, not more asparagus in here, but yeah, I mean, I'm going to call being able to do lemons in a small bin a success. I think you can do it. I would definitely make sure you put in the crushed eggshells with it to kind of neutralize any of the acidity. I would also add in maybe extra bedding because they're a little bit more moist, and this is definitely too dry. There are a ton of worms in here. I'm sure you can see them crawling around as I move this around. I mean, just tons. I really am shocked. There's probably a couple pounds of worms in here by now, which is a lot for a bin this size. So I'm going to keep this bin going just a little bit longer, and then I'm probably going to empty it out to see if I can finish up the last of this stuff that's in here. But I am going to throw some more food in, and we're also going to throw, actually I'm going to move this over to this side like this. Kind of break up this side a little bit because that side's pretty good, but this side is really well composted if you can't tell. So I'm going to move this over to this side. I'm going to throw in a couple of banana peels that I have here. This is just a peel. This right here too. I'm not going to throw in a whole lot because I want it to kind of break down. And I'm going to grab here the paper and cardboard that I have to try to absorb some of this moisture. I'm also going to add a little bit more paper and cardboard. This is all pre-shredded, and it's a mixture. I'm not using a mixture of paper and cardboard. Part of that is because I have paper that I need to shred, and part of it is that I'm trying to use a variety of materials that kind of, some of them compress down, some of them don't. So I'm going to do that and then cover this up, and this will hopefully absorb some of the moisture that's in here. Although it's really not too bad if you think about it, since the lid was not wet. But I'm going to put a little bit more over here too. Just kind of work it in a little bit here. have it break up, get some air down low in the bin. So, but that's my update for this, and I think this is our last update. We're going to say that this was a success, and you can do this in a small bin. You can compost lemons, which means I'm sure there's a lot of other things that they say you cannot compost or shouldn't compost in a worm bin that you really can. And maybe we'll test out some of those things. If you have any ideas of what we should try in my next video series, please let me know. Thank you, and again, I'm going to make another plea. Please subscribe to my channel if you can. Otherwise, I will probably continue to do this, but it just means that I can't afford to add new bins or new products or anything like that, because this is just a hobby of mine. It's not really a profit-making business. So, thank you, and I hope you enjoyed this video.